Hey guys, EBPMAN here, and today we're taking a look at another keyboard alternative for the iPad Pro 12.9. This one is brought to us by IVSO. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, keyboard options for the iPad Pro 2018, 12.9, and 11 are really hard to come by. There are very few options in the market. So today I'm going to share with you another very affordable solution alternative that you can look at for your iPad Pro 12.9 or 11. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell icon to get notified when new videos become available.
Now, before doing the unboxing, we're going to take a closer look at the features and see why you'd want to consider this keyboard as an alternative to the keyboards that are on the market available today. So this keyboard is a very affordable keyboard. You're looking at a keyboard that is around $59, $60, around that area, depending on pricing on Amazon. And wanted to just cover with you some of the main features and why you'd want to consider this keyboard. So first of all, this is a rechargeable keyboard, so you do have to physically charge it, as it does not use the power coming from your iPad. But that isn't really a negative. So what you're looking at here is that the standby time is of 150 days. So if you take a look at that right there, that's pretty substantial. Thinking about that, the fact that you won't have to charge it for almost half a year, I think, is a pretty good deal. You do have a battery lifetime of up to 3 years. You have charging ports, which uses a micro USB charging option. Charging time, full charging time, to get that 150 days standby time is going to be 2 to 3 hours, and it takes under 2 seconds to wake up. So the other thing that you have is that you do have some lighting. So you have a cap indicator light, a wireless indicator light, and a charging indicator light. Now, working time, as you can see here, which means how long is the keyboard going to work as you're typing. So if you're a college student, or if you're someone who is using this for business, how long is it going to last between charges? So the interesting thing here is that the working time is up to 70 hours. Think about that, 70 hours. So really, if you're using this an enormous amount of time during the week, you may want to charge this anywhere from once a week to every 2 weeks, depending on how much you use the keyboard. So let's get straight to it. We'll do the unboxing and we'll see what's inside. Now, before doing the unboxing, one of the things I wanted to highlight is that there are a number of color options that you can work with. So you notice right here that there is a black version, rose gold, gray, blue, golden, and then there's some other options that we have where you can have with backlit keys and without backlit keys. So this is going to give you a lot of options. So as we take a look at what's in the box, go ahead and open it. Just like this. And we'll see how everything is laid out. So the first thing you'll notice right here is you have, it looks like charging cable. Yeah, this is the charging cable. So it has a decently long micro USB-C, actually micro USB charging cable. And we'll put that aside. And then what we saw as soon as we opened it is we saw the actual keyboard. So we'll go ahead and remove this. I chose the black version. I kind of, I'll go brown, but I typically like black. And we'll take a look at this as we open it up. And so what we have here is a little instruction guide, detailing everything that you have to know about the keyboard, maintenance, as you can see there, operating instructions and common connection problems. All right, and then what we have here is our keyboard. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the keyboard. We'll go ahead and get our iPad Pro 12.9 and fit it in and see just how everything aligns and how the keyboard works. All right, so now taking a closer look at the keyboard, the first thing that you'll note is that the keyboard is made out of a matte finish. It's not a glossy material, which means that it's not going to pick up a lot of fingerprints, which is really good. It does have a magnetic closure right here, so as you can see, this opens and closes, and it locks into place, which is nice because it's going to keep your keyboard secure. As we open this up, you'll notice a couple things, and let's make sure we have that on camera, that you have a sleeve or an area that you're going to be able to snap in your iPad Pro, and this is made out of a TPU material. So it's a flexible TPU material, and you can see that. It has a honeycomb pattern in the back, and that honeycomb pattern is going to help really with shock absorption. So if it were to fall, you would drop it, it's going to help disperse that impact so that the iPad doesn't really take it. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that it has a pencil tray here. So this is going to allow you to store your pencil when you're not using it, so you can snap it in place. Now, as we look here at the very top, you'll notice that there's a section here for your pencil. Now, this section right here is going to give you the ability to still charge your pencil. So it's going to go here, and it's thin enough so that it's going to charge as you're using it. And then you can see it has the appropriate cutouts right here for your camera, the speakers, and we're going to see how all this aligns. The thing is, though, you'll have some decent protection because it looks like it has some nice bumper protection and some really nice rubberized sides. Now, focusing on the keyboard, let's go ahead and flip this around for a second so we can focus on the keyboard. And we'll make sure that you can see that as well. And here, as we look at the keyboard, you'll notice that the keyboard is really specialized towards the iOS operating system. So you have all of your function keys as well as what you would expect from a multimedia experience coming from Apple. So your home button, you have brightness, contrast, play, pause, cut, volume control. All those things are nicely included here. Now you'll notice that you do have a little toggle switch here that we'll be using for turning on and off. And then also you have these little rubberized feet on each one of these sides, which is really important because as you close your cover just like this, the keyboard section will be on top of your screen. So having those rubberized feet raises this above the actual keys, so they should never touch your screen, and that's a really nice feature to have. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect the keyboard to your iPad Pro using the Bluetooth connectivity, and then we're going to see how it performs and how the buttons work. So let's get right to that. Now let's take a closer look at the iPad inside of the case so we can see how everything aligns. So everything is now secure inside of the iPad. I also have the Apple Pencil inside. And the first thing we want to focus on is actually the kind of protection that you're getting. So one of the things that you'll notice right here is that you are getting some decent protection all the way around. And you'll notice if we put it right here, you'll see how you have your speaker grill is accessible, your charging port is nicely, generously open, so if you have a wider type USB-C cable, you don't have to worry about that there. Here you have your other grill open. You notice that there's the charging port that you'll need to look at and charge at least once or two times a week. As we go over here, you have your buttons, so the buttons are nicely raised there and easy to access, and they're very tactile in nature, and they actually are a little bit recessed when it comes to this area here, so this is higher than this, and that's really important to me because if you put this in a briefcase or in a backpack and it's kind of like this, you want to make sure that these buttons aren't constantly being pressed. So I really like that feature and appreciate it. On the back, if we look right here, you have your camera, and the neat thing about the camera area there is that it is pretty raised. So if we put this in an angle, and you'll see this, you're really not seeing the camera protrude, which means that as you put it on a countertop, you don't have to worry about it getting damaged or scratched. Now on the back here, there looks to be a little opening that we're going to check out as soon as we prop this stuff up. Over here you'll notice that you have your pinhole mics are still here available, so you have a couple mics in the front and on the side here were available, and then you have your power button. So what we'll do is, let's go ahead and open this up and see what this looks like. Now the one thing I'll also highlight is that it does support auto wake. So what you just saw is as I opened up the cover, the auto wake feature actually enabled and turned on the tablet itself. Now you'll notice where I have my pencil, and one of the things we're going to do is we're going to do a Apple Pencil charging test. So what I'm going to do is just raise this, stick my finger on the bottom here just to pop it up like this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to try to keep this in camera, but then also put the Apple Pencil here and to see if it starts charging. Now you notice that it turned on and it's saying Apple Pencil and it's charging. So that's an important thing. So the neat thing about it is that it will charge without having to take out your iPad. Now if I put this cover over it, one of the things I wanted to highlight here is notice how it doesn't really do a good job when it comes to keeping the pencil in place and having this closed. So really that pencil slot is really designed so that when you have the keyboard in use and you're typing, you could put the pencil there if you're going to type and pencil. A lot of people use the pencil almost like if it was a mouse. So if you're doing that combination of keyboard and pencil, you can do that. But really, it's not designed for you to take it with you and store it in this area. The storage compartment is bottom, in the bottom of the corner that we saw right here. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Now let's talk about how this keyboard actually works from a from a standing position or when you're using it for typing. Now, as I move this back, you'll notice how this part right here opens like this. So this is going to give you the ability, you notice how I stowed that, to actually have a typing angle. So you can see how that typing angle works right here. I'm going to flip it around so you can see how that works again. So this is going to give you a really nice angle. Now, one of the things that I always get questions on is this very I would say lappable, so meaning that can you put it on your lap and use it for typing. And I want to say that based on the stability that you have here, and I've tried this already, and we'll flip this over so maybe you can see this way. Given how this support is, it's so sturdy, I think that, well, in my experience, it works well on your lap. Given you have this wide bar over here, this white area right here that's going to give you support between your legs, and then this is pretty sturdy. So you shouldn't have any problem if you want to use it on your lap. At least I haven't, right? So this is what it would look like. We'll go ahead and bring this back a little bit so you can see what the keyboard would look like, how the angle is set up right there real nicely, and then the typing service right here. So now let's take a look at how the keyboard works and how it performs as we're navigating through our iPad. All right, so now I have the keyboard paired with the iPad. Now for the sake of the overhead camera that we're using, I'm just gonna have it laid out so you can see what's going on here. So what we have here is the keyboard, and we also then have the iPad. And I'm just gonna move this up a little bit just so that we can get some of the experience here. So as I move on the iPad, and what we'll do is put this like this. I think it will be easier to see if we do it this way. So here I have my iPad, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the home button, and you'll notice that it took me home immediately. So once again, I can go over here, and it takes me home. The brightness, you'll notice that it's controlling the brightness. And what I want you to look at is the lag. You know, how quickly does it respond? So I'm going to press the button so that you can see how almost real time. I would say it's very close to real time, if not real time. So tapping up. Okay. If we go over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the home button. Watch me press the home button, and watch how quick the screen moves. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Seems to respond pretty quick. I did that because many of you asked, you know, is there perceived lag on the keyboard as you're working? And I really can't perceive one. So let's go ahead and try typing next to see how that works. Let's go ahead and flip this around. I'm going to go ahead, open up a doc or you know, just an editor that we can get into so we can see how the keyboard works. Now for this typing test, I'm going to be in Google Docs. Keyboard is still connected, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to see the responsiveness of the keyboard as the characters are typing on the screen. So focus on me typing and then how the characters will show up. So I'm going to type, the brown fox jumped over the moon. Now, what did you think? What was that responsiveness like? Did you think it was kind of real time or not? We'll do that again. I'm going to press the period and I'm going to type, the brown fox jumped over the moon. All right, so that was a little bit faster. I'm going to type it one more time. This time I'm not going to say it because as I'm talking and typing, I just can't do both. You know, silly me. Let's try it again. That's pretty good. So responsiveness is really good. And again, the angle is also really good. So that's what the typing would look like. And remember, I can always press home, and you can see how quickly that also worked. Now, the last thing I wanted to share with you is some additional viewing angles. So I just wanted to put this instruction card right here so you can see. So you do have multiple viewing angles where you can have your tablet set up. And as you can see, this is one angle, this is another angle, and then this is the third. So they call it patterns that you can have. So it's going to give you a lot of flexibility. I can tell you that in my experience, the actual keyboard is very responsive. There's no perceived lag on my side, and I hope that you could see that as you're typing. And the more important thing is that, or equally important, is that the price point for this is like extremely good. So you're talking at, you know, under $60 versus keyboard cases that are well above $200. Now, with everything, there is some bulk that comes with this keyboard case, and you know, let's go ahead and make sure that we address that. So with the keyboard case, you know, being what it is, you know, it's not as thin as some of the other products we saw from Apple, especially the Apple case, but this does give you more protection. I don't feel that the Apple case keyboard combo, the smart keyboard, gives you a lot of protection. This is going to give you a lot of protection. Now, if you ask me, will this keyboard also protect my iPad from bending? I think that any kind of protection is going to be good. So this does give you more protection than the Apple keyboard does, and it definitely contributes to protecting your iPad Pro 12.9 2018 version from bending as well. So guys, that concludes our review of this keyboard case for the iPad Pro from IVSO. Remember, this is available for both for the 11-inch and the 12.9 2018 version. And at under $60 or around $60, I think this is a good value. You saw how it performs. Let me know in the comment area what you thought about this keyboard case. And as always, don't forget to share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.